decided to keep the Murphy Lab heavy aged. So thanks to everyone that's joined the channel recently following my quest for the perfect Les Paul. I've ended up here for now, which is this 2024 Murphy Lab heavy aged in green lemon fade. I had narrowed it down to 3 Lesters. I had my trusty 2019 R9 60th anniversary reissue. And this year I added a light aged Murphy Lab along with this heavy aged. The majority of folks preferred the heavy aged, but there was a decent amount of folks that loved the R9 as well as the light aged. And many folks said, keep all 3. They're all great Les Pauls and all have a distinct voice. And I agree, but I've decided to sell the other 2. They're already gone, and the proceeds are going toward another guitar that unexpectedly crossed my path from the Gibson Golden Age era. Some say those guitars are burst killers. So if that wasn't a dead giveaway, let me know what your best guess is. And if you know what I'm referring to, take a guess at maybe the year. Anyway, expect some more videos revealing and drilling into what that guitar is and what that's all about. But in the meantime, I wanted to come on and talk a little bit around why I ended up choosing the Murphy Lab heavy aged over the other 2 Lesters. And just reflect and talk a little bit around the journey of buying guitars, being the temporary custodian of them, and letting them go, and what that process feels like. And I'd love to know from you guys how you manage that, what your experience has been, how you feel about it. Because we can get attached to these things sometimes, even though they're just tools of inspiration. So there can be a bit of a psychological and emotional aspect around buying, flipping, trading, chasing guitars, regretting, letting ones go, stuff like that. So let's just dive in. Let's take a listen to this thing cleaned up. So one thing I loved about this example is it just has this big, warm, woody, sweet voice to it, especially in that neck pickup. It's just got a lot of cluck and knock to it. And I hear that acoustically too. Middle on this bad boy, ton of quack. Get pretty when you want it to. And then the bridge pickup, need I say more? So it's been an interesting journey, you know. When you acquire guitars and you let them go, you know, how do you know if you're going to regret it or not? I guess you really don't. And my mindset and attitude has been, if I'm letting something go because I didn't click with it, there's nothing really to regret. That's a good thing for everybody. If I'm upgrading to something cooler, that's to give you more inspiration, that's also a win for everybody. But my collection at this point is kind of hit this plateau where I own all the different archetype guitars that I am interested in owning, and I've got sort of an ideal example of each. And so at this point, that hasn't quelched my thirst for acquiring new guitars and trying new things, but it's made it more difficult to decide, when I find something new and cool, what am I going to sell to acquire it? It's not as easy of a decision anymore. And so letting go 2 of these 3 Lesters was a luxury problem for sure, so don't get me wrong. But it was a tough decision. I didn't know if I was making the right call, honestly. The deciding factor really was I got a ton of music out of the R9, but it was ultimately sort of a tool for me. Beautiful Lester Wildwood spec, painted by Tom Murphy. It's a 2019, which is a great year. The 60th anniversary reissues came out great. Featured that guitar a ton in this channel as a reference guitar. It's been a favorite of many viewers and many of the shootouts. But it was a guitar that I used for live performance on occasion, as well as when I needed that Les Paul thing in a recording track. But it wasn't like an everyday player. I didn't reach for it when I just wanted to jam or noodle. I got other guitars that kind of inspire me more for that. So ultimately I said, I'll let that one go. I had it for 5 years, had a great run with it. I took a small hit. I had bought that one new, which I don't recommend. Buy a majority of my guitars used so that when I do eventually move them on, you usually break even or even make a little money over time, as guitars tend to appreciate. And hopefully the new owner loves it, plays it every day. The Murphy Lab Light Edge I didn't have long enough to get attached to, although it was an absolutely killer sounding Les Paul. Of the 3, honestly, it was probably what I would consider a quintessential example. It had the telly on steroids. All 3 positions were super musical. The guitar was very nuanced and touch sensitive, but it had a snarl and bite to it that was just killer. This one doesn't quite have that, but it's cool nonetheless. So that concludes my quest for the perfect Les Paul for now, until I get the bug again at some point in the future. I let go of 2 beautiful Lesters in the process. I haven't regretted that as of yet. It's been a few weeks. And come to think of it, I've probably sold 40 or so guitars over my lifetime of collecting, and there hasn't been a guitar that I've really regretted selling or have missed. But I'd be curious if there's that one guitar you've moved on that later down the line you wish you still had, and be curious to know what that guitar is. Let me know. And in the meantime, I'll be working on the Gibson Golden Age reveal guitar video. And if anyone's hip to Springer guitars, I've got this super cool Serif model that I've been very impressed with lately. So I'm working on a review video of that. So be on the lookout if you're interested. And then I also, just today, installed some Stevens Design HD59 pickups in my Johann Gustafsson Bluesmaster. So I recorded some before and after footage of that I'll post in a video. See which pickups you guys prefer. So until then, take care and I'll see you in the next video.